the fuck? So next up, we got Mike McDonnell, our operations manager in our Calgary office. He's taking us through how to use Omega 365 on site. Take it away, Mike.
Basically, what I'll be showing today is how we use Omega 365 now out in site. So this can be for commissioning or construction, doing facilities or capital projects. It can also be for maintenance or turnaround within existing assets. And also recently we've started to come to a lot of clients doing linear types of projects. So those are piping or railing. It could even be major road construction, where we can track the progress out in the field by your construction workers or and your quality assurance, and we can track that progress through our system. So I'm just going to jump right into it. So here you can see we have something called our Scope Explorer. This is the way that we track all of our activities in the system. The nice thing about Omega 365 now is you can configure your completion in any way. We don't have to be stuck in the normal system subsystem tags. We can do construction or completion by areas, or we can do it by building, floor, and room if you're doing a hospital or something like that. So all of it is configurable. In this example here, I'm showing a maintenance project. So right now, we have a asset that's already complete, but we can see all of our maintenance activities shown by completion status. If I wanted to open up any of these maintenance activities, I can here. And in here, it will show basically an activity that you would complete out in the field. So these are just our checklists, and these will all be available mobily. So if you wanted to add punch items or anything directly from these check items, you can do it right on your phone by clicking this plus button. And then when it loads up, you can also restrict what type of items someone can load. So if you're doing a maintenance activity, instead of a punch item here, it can be a maintenance finding. Or it can be, if you had a safety incident, you could raise a near miss while you're doing a check item here. So lots of functionality that we have available. Also, if you want to add any images to this, if you click on this button here, you can associate any images directly. So I have oof in here because I couldn't find it, but any of these you can bring right up on here. So I lost my image, but we'll use that one instead. But also on here, you can go into any portion of your structure. So if I have it by system, subsystem, or process, I can click on any of these systems, and I can see completion by those systems and also what activities are outstanding. So if I want to look at the ballast system and the subsystems in here, I can. If they don't have any maintenance items, I can move to something else. And these items will then show me all the different types of maintenance items that I have. So another thing that we have is if you're doing a maintenance project, you can have a skyline shown for you. So usually the guys out in the field will print out these giant skylines, seeing what type of work they have to do. Now you can actually just make this a favorite on your home page, and all the guys can click on it right as soon as they come to the application, and they can see what work they have available to them. So here we can see what work for maintenance activities for this project are coming up, what's currently past due, and if I want to click right into one of these, I can, and I could then modify the start and the finish date. We can set up series for our maintenance activities, so if you have, say, check the boiler every couple months, you can have a list of activities that happen for each of those maintenance tasks. So in here, we can see on the left-hand side, different sections, which we can then assign to persons or roles. So if you have an individual person that's in charge of maintenance on a boiler, you can assign it to them, and they'll be given that work and notified as soon as that work is upcoming for the day. If it's associated to a role, then a large amount of people can work on the same thing at the same time. On the right-hand side, you'll see a checklist. These are all configurable. You can create these in our system and save them as templates. And also, we have the ability for you to take existing Word templates, dump them into the system, and then have AI generate those check items for you. I'll also show you that our system has the ability to automatically translate any of these check items that you have into any language that you want. So if you're working in Quebec, you can have it automatically translate into French without any extra effort from you. So those are our maintenance activities, and this is how we can kind of do maintenance completions. Another thing that we've started to recently see, and I'd just like to thank Kiera for generously letting us display some of their data that they have for Omega 365 in their CAPS mainline, is that we've started to do completions for linear projects. So that is pipelines, rails, where we separate our work by spreads and regions, and we can see all the different kilometer posts and everything that are associated with it. And what we've done with that information is you can see on the left-hand side, we have all their different spreads for the main lines and all the different kilometer posts and crossings that constitute that spread or main line. And then we can run activities against it. So while you're constructing a pipe, there's lots of quality assurance that you have to do. So stringing, lowering in, backfills, clearing, all that work needs to be done every single day. And I have some numbers that we put together. We've had 2 major projects that are using this. And just on a single project, we've had 249,583 reports done. So this is daily environmental reports, getting welding logs, NDEs, everything. We've also had 12,000 offline reports done. So our system has full offline capability. So these 12,000 reports are actually done in the middle of the Rocky Mountains, absolutely no internet connection. And we just use the GPS from your SIM card to say where you did it. So that way we can track the progress along the line being built. For this one project, just one, we've had 1.7 million images taken and stored within the system, and we extract GPS out of every single one of them. So that way we can say where it was done, associated it to what reports, and you don't have someone going in after the fact and typing in where they actually did the work. We all do it automatically in the background. We also have, and I'll show you shortly, over 1,000 kilometers of piping progress tracked just for this one project. So I'll jump into that and kind of show how that works. So I'll show and demonstrate Kiera. The way that we're doing our reporting, so exactly like I showed you for maintenance, we can do reporting based on quality assurance and construction activities. So here we have their spread 2, and within this spread 2, we're tracking multiples of activities. So here we have 66 cleaning activities, we have hydro testing, hydrovac, lowering in, major HDDs, and we can also filter with our system what I want to show. So if I only want to see stringing, I can remove these items, and I can save what I have as a filter for all my different processes. So if I'm in charge of stringing or I'm in charge of clearing, I can filter it down to that. The next thing I was going to show is, I don't get to be as cool with AI, but I'll try my best. Here, so AI, just like Arvid was showing, and same with Kenneth, is you can have all your activities and your workflows within a grid, and you can use the AI to basically ask it questions to say, okay, who's responsible for these items, and what's the count of these items that they have? So you can go in to your weekly meeting or whatnot before you start the day as a construction supervisor, and you can say, okay, I have Neil Carlson is working on inspection tests today, and he has 3 outstanding currently. Shane is currently working on interface requests, and Carl has 2 outstanding punch items. And so that way you can easily ask questions here to grab out some stats for your team. You can also ask questions on whether or not what's the most important item here or what's the latest item. That way you can focus down your work. In our system, like I showed you, we have checklists. However, we have also added something that we call checklist tables. This lets you basically replicate any template that you have. So if you have a template that you want to record readings in, you can. We have the ability for you to do drop-downs for any of these items. You specify what this is. So it's all configurable by you. You don't need us to do it. You can also make items required. That way you can't move on from one item to the next without filling in that information. And we've also added in, kind of a nice thing is, sometimes you'll have to put in information from readings from different instruments and whatnot, and you can have the system auto-calculate those values now for you. So you don't have to have some guy with a calculator typing in that information. You can do it yourself. So if I, for example, wanted to do a clearing activity and say I worked at the 60th kilometer post, and then I did 20 meters of work, you can have it automatically calculate the confirmed progress that you have. These are actually, and I'll show you very shortly, what we're using to calculate progress and then say where that progress is actually calculated. And it's all saved from these reports, which are all configurable by you. So you just choose how you want that data to be shown. In here, this is where you create all your check items. So like I said before, you can drop in a Word template and have AI automatically generate these check items. Or you can build them yourself. And then also in here, we have our translations table, and you can use AI to automatically translate any language that you want. So if I wanted to add, for example, French, I can add French here. And now I'll let it think for a little bit, because basically in the background, it does this. And so now it's automatically translated the check items in here. And you can do any language. You can do Korean, you can do Russian, you can do anything. It will automatically change. And it's all based off of your user's account. So if some people on your project are French, they set themselves to French, that's what they see. And that's how it works. Yes. Another thing that I just wanted to show is our checklist tables. Checklist tables here are all configurable for you, and previously in other systems, it would just be like Excel. It's kind of hard to see what you're actually creating, but we've created a visual designer for you so that, once again, you don't have to come to Omega for it, you can do it yourself. So in here, this is just a visual designer for creating your checklist tables. So we have a preview setting, so you can see exactly what it's going to look like when you submit it to your contractors, and you can see how they'll be interacting with it. So like, for example, if I have a start time when they're on their phone and they click it, this is what they're going to see. So you can already see what it's going to look like when it gets out to the field. We also have a lot of different options that you can add here. So if you wanted to add labels, text boxes where they can record information, you can. Dates, numbers. We also support barcoding. So if any of your equipment is barcoded, you can use your camera to just read the barcode, and it will automatically store that data onto the system. You can also use it for, I've seen people tag documents or maybe a lockout tagout information right to the tag, and you can have it bring up that information directly in Omega 365. The last thing that I'll show here, because it's kind of cool, is we have the ability for you to do calculations. So as you saw when I inputted that information for that activity, where it said that I did 20 meters of confirmed progress, you can create your own calculations here. So for those guys out in the field, where you might have some calculation to test whether or not the heat is too high for this individual instrument, you can have a calculation that automatically puts two values together, and then we'll put it and display it on here. So that's our checklist table. So now I'll kind of show where this all culminates, basically. So we've created a GIS map importer where you can basically bring in any different file type for GIS information. So that could be KML files, it could be ESRI. We can import anything you want. You can also layer surveys done by like the city of Calgary or something like that, and you can have it all shown and collected by yourself. So for example, we have Kiera's line zone 1 to 3 in here. We also have some different maps that we've imported and published. And once you publish it, you can create yourselves groups of maps. So this is where we import all of our maps. We also allow for you to style any of your maps. So if you wanted different colors or anything like that, we allow you to do it. And this can also be exported straight from Google Earth. So if you want to export your Google Earth files, it will work right into here. So here's an example. We have something called our map register. This is where we can create collections of maps. So now you can put multiple layers on and display them. So here on this map, I currently have just some place markers where I can show like, okay, here's an overlay over top of a building or something like that. Or maybe I want to show an image over top of the map. We support all of that. But maybe I also want to include a pipeline over top of this. That might be a little bit more useful. So from our map importer, we can take any of the maps that we published and we can add them to our collection of the maps. So say I do one section of pipeline and then we decide to do an expansion, I can add the other section of pipeline onto the same thing. So here I'm gonna add, thank you again, Kiara. We'll be adding Kiara's pipe to this. So I'll refresh. And then in here, you can see I have now added that extra pipe along with all that extra information here. So I can click from zone to zone, but as you can see here, I can have multiple different layers and you can add or remove anything you want. So one example that we're definitely going to be using for Kiara in the future is they have a map filled with their crossings. So this map will just show the main row line, and then in between it, we can then overlay the crossings over top of it so they can easily see that information. Now to go a little bit farther, what we've done as well with Kiara before and other clients is we've been able to take their line and then you had seen me previously do that checklist where we had progress and what KP we started at and which one we ended at. We can actually then plot those all along the line to show you. So here, I'll take stringing. And then what I can see is all along this pipe, I have all the different activities that we've done along the piece of pipe. So if I drill in here, and you can also do filtering on the bottom half here. If you want to just check for a certain specific spread, you can filter it down to the specific spread, and you can see that information. But I can go all the way down right here, and I can see, here's a report that's done on spread 6, and then I can open it up, and I can see the contents of that with reported activity on top of it. So here's an old report where it told me that it was cloudy with 8 degrees high. Here's all the activity that was done and on what size of pipe. So all this information is then associated directly to the line. Now, the next cool thing that we can do is we can progress this. So for each of these activities, they need to be progressed across different portions of the line. So if you want to see how far along you are in laying a pipe for a specific spread, I want to track where are we getting progress, any gaps, or anything like that. So what I'll show you is, again, I'll cheat with stringing. So say I want to look at stringing, and I want to look at spread 4. So I'm going to pull up spread 4, and I'm concerned about 12-inch pipe. So I want to see the progress for 12-inch pipe. I can come here. I can load the progress. And here is spread 4 isolated with all of our kilometer posts. And also I can see information about how much completion we have for that spread. So for stringing on spread 4, we have a total length of 55 kilometers, and we're 40% done stringing this spread. And we have 22 kilometers totally progressed. If I zoom in here, I can actually see some more cool things. So here, I can see a section of the pipe, or I actually have a gap. So I can see, okay, we did the stringing before, and then kind of halfway through the next KP post. But I can also then see, if I click on these, field reports that are associated with this progress. So I clicked back here. This is green, that means it's good. We've progressed it properly. And I can open this. And that said that there was 25.25 meters of progress done. So here it will directly filter to that field report. And if I open it up, I can see down here, sorry, right here, this progress done for that stringing and for the 12-inch pipe. So I can see how far along we're working, and these reports are all done by field guys, construction guys. They're out in the field doing all these, and then they'll take an image, and then we take that image, we extract the GPS out of it, and then we find out, okay, what's the closest kilometer post to that? And we automatically assign that to the kilometer post, and then we check how much progress they made. And that way we can take that map and progress it so you can know how far along you are in the pipe. So, and then there's more stuff that we can do with that data. So all that information that's being taken from the field by the construction guys every single day, we can then say, okay, let's make a report and tell me like how far along or how far we're working in every single month. So here I can say, okay, for lowering in November, we progressed 1,050 meters. And you can check all this information. And this is all being driven from information being collected by your construction. And for Kiara, they did tons and tons of work, and it worked out really well. The last thing I wanted to show is, so I've been talking about those images. Here, we can isolate that pipe again and say I wanted to look at stringing, and I want to see all the images that have to do with stringing. So this is spread 4. We collect all the images together, but say I want to come in here and I want to check out images here along the pipe. So here, right in this exact location, let's find a better one. Maybe we go to this one. But directly in here, we can see the image that was taken, and we take the GPS straight out of here automatically. So previously, you would have to have all your guys use an app that specifically said where they were doing it. You don't have to do that anymore. It's all automatically done by Omega as soon as they come back into cell range. If they're doing it offline, if they're online, it just goes straight up to the cloud and extracted and then associated. So yeah, I think that's everything I have to show. So thanks a lot for your time, everyone.